What I'd like to talk about in this video is how we write formulas for an ionic compound. And we've started to see this, the cation, the element that's positive, that one is usually written first. The anion has a negative charge, and that one's usually written second. We'll crisscross, show you what that means in just a minute, and then we get the subscripts from there. And so when we look at the sample that's given to us, we use oxidation numbers. There's lithium with the +1, oxygen with the -2. So there we have the symbols and the charges with the charge. That's what that means right there. We want that oxidation number. And then we crisscross. And when we crisscross, it means just that. I'll show you this. I'll use arrows. You don't have to. I'm going to take that 2, cross it over. I'll take that 1 and I cross it over. And so now we have that, which is what you see right here. We don't have to write the oxidation numbers, so we have the 2 and the 1. And then remember, in chemical formulas, we never write the 1s. So that would be our final answer. So when we want the formula for lithium oxide, that's what we're looking for. And some of this preliminary work, we're going to see more of those and do some more of those practice. That's the preliminary stuff. Usually that information does not show up in our final answer. So writing the formulas for these ionic compounds, we'll need our periodic tables. And so the element written first is positive, and the element written second is negative. And so I'm going to go to my periodic table, get the symbol and the charge for sodium and sulfide. So I go to my periodic table. So sodium. Oh. Let's go here. There we go. Sodium. Capital N, lowercase a, and it's a +1. And then the other one was sulfide. Remember, there's no element called sulfide. It's sulfur. We had to change the ending from sulfur to sulfide, and it's a capital S with a -2. So I'll take that information that I had, sulfur and sodium. I'll take it back, and I'll write Na with a +1, sulfur with a -2. And so that's the information I got from my periodic table. Next step, I've got the symbols with the charge. I'm going to crisscross oxidation number. So I'll take the 2, I'll drop the negative sign, I'll take the 1, and I'll drop the positive sign. And so now I have Na2S1. So now I'll clean up all of the things I don't need. There's my formula, but remember in formulas, we don't ever write the 1. So when I'm done with my formula, there's my final product. Na2S. And then the sum should always equal 0. Well, if I take those positives and negatives, Na is a +1, but there's 2 of them. Sulfur is a -2. Well, there's only 1 of them, so I have +1, +1, -2. Add those together, and that gets me to 0. Sum of the oxidation numbers is always 0. I'll pause the video, and I want you to try barium phosphide and aluminum nitride. Again, going to your periodic table, getting the symbol and the charge, crisscross oxidation numbers, and get to that final formula. I'll let you pause, work on that, and then we'll take a look at the bottom 3. There's a tiny bit of a difference in the bottom ones. Now that you've had a chance to work on those, barium is a +2. There's no element phosphide, but remember it's phosphorus. That's a -3. So I take my oxidation numbers and crisscross. Remember, you do not need to show me the arrows. There's barium phosphide. 3 bariums, 2 phosphorus. And again, if I look at those charges, oops, come on. There's 3 bariums. There's 2 phosphorus. And if I add those together, all of that equals 0. Our formula should always, our oxidation number should always add up to 0. Aluminum nitride, aluminum +3, nitrogen -3. Crisscross those oxidation numbers. Oops. Now this is something a little different. If you notice, the subscripts are the same. And when the subscripts are the same, we simplify them down. So 3 and 3, since those can be simplified down, they both become a 1. 1 aluminum, 1 nitrogen, and that is my final formula. ALN. Now I'll take a look at chromium 2 chloride. There's a slight difference here. Chromium is capital C lowercase r. Chlorine is capital C lowercase l. Now I'll go to the periodic table and I will get the oxidation numbers for those. So here is chlorine. Chlorine has a -1. And here's chromium. It's a transition metal, so remember I have to use the table on the other side, so I'm going to scroll to that. And I was fearing that. Chromium with the 2 in parentheses has a +2. Remember that the number in parentheses is the same as the oxidation number. So if there's a 2 in parentheses, it's a +2. You can go ahead and add that to your periodic tables. You might see that one in the future. And so now I'll come over here. Oops, went to the wrong one. There we go. +2 -1. I'll do my crisscross. But remember, we don't ever write the 1, so I'll get rid of that 1. And there's my formula. Same thing, pause the video, finish iron iodide and magnesium bromide, and then we'll take a look at those. Okay, now that you've had a time to work on those, remember a 3 in parentheses means it's a +3. Iodine is a -1, so I'll crisscross. I don't write the 1s. There's my formula for iron iodide. Magnesium is a +2. Bromine is a -1. I'll crisscross. Remember, I don't have to show the arrows. And remember, I don't show the 1s in my final formula, and that would be my formula for magnesium bromide. That's how we do formulas for ion.